There is interpretation of geology that decided on that increment sexual increment on both
1850
science where all have foundation or
what happened in the
consciousness
what happened in
even more
how can you be intoxicating?
Explanatory power.
Intoxicating. Okay.
Important organization. In this century, society has become more and more acquire their qualifications. More and more of them are
figuratively present as a past history and behave as if compared to repeat behavior.
As a result, the great majority of the people in developed countries work as employees. They work as a member of a managed institution and within the managed structure. More and more occur.
How can you show technology?
Great majority of people.
Technology, computers, accelerating.
Changing with the accelerating introduction to new technology, new information. Programs for
the code declared has been more to declare the entire constitution of 1965.
Once they make a living,
relatively recent time,
management itself is such a knowledge. It is a discipline. One subject matter is constitution
that require judgment.
Okay, team. Louder, all together.
1976, on 11th January 1929, after 3 years but also
Broca's Brain, Carl Sagan, New York, Random House, 1979, page number 25 to 26. Einstein, who described himself as a socialist, became convicted that World War I was largely the result of scheming incompetence of the ruling classes, a conclusion with which many contemporary historians agree. He became a pacifist. When other German scientists enthusiastically supported their nation's military enterprises, Einstein publicly condemned the war as an epidemic delusion. Only his Swiss citizenship prevented him from being imprisoned, as indeed happened to his friend, the philosopher Bertrand Russell. And in England at the same time and for the same reason.
Okay.
Einstein's, however, the war did indirectly play a role in making Einstein's name a household word. In his general theory of relativity, Einstein explored and proposition an idea still astonishing in its simplicity, beauty, and power.
Okay, give a very good hand.
Broca's brain. Carl Sagan, New York, Random House, 1979, page number 25 to 26.
Einstein, who discovered the socialist idiot began that who convinced of World War I and was largely a result of how many times I've told you, leave the company of that idiot. Baga, you have come to a conclusion with which many historians agree. You should have never been a pessimist. When other German scientists, I told you next time I see you with this guy, I'll kick you.
Who described himself as a socialist, became convinced that World War I was largely the result of the scheming incompetence of the... He became a pacifist when other German scientists enthusiastically supported their nation's military enterprises. Einstein publicly condemned the war as an epidemic delusion. Only his Swiss citizenship prevented him from being imprisoned. As indeed happened to his friend,
Okay,
the
not
philosopher, who described himself as a socialist, became convinced that World War I was largely the result of the scheming incompetence of the ruling classes. A conclusion with which many competency historians agree. He became a pacifist with other German scientists, military enterprises. Einstein publicly condemned the war as an epidemic delusion. Go for chai.
Okay, go ahead. What else? How will be your body language when you are really happy?
Let's go for and have the cake corner and enjoy. Enjoy the afternoon.
You give a treat?
Yes.
Okay, now I want...
Described himself as a socialist, became a convinced that World War I was largely the result of the scheming incompetence of the ruling classes.
Okay, okay, good. Give a good idea. Try that.
The meaning of fossils. Martin J.S. Ludwig, New York. Neil Watson, Academic Publication International, page 164-165. On 11 January 1829, after 3 nights in a ship that was almost uncomfortable as the primitive inn, he has endured for 2 months in city of Sicily. Charles Lane, 1797-1875, landed in Naples. This marked the end of expedition that has been decisive for his own intellectual development, but also through enormous influence of work for the whole industry of paleontology. As he wrote the next day to his friend Roderick Motion, 1792-1871, who has accompanied him in his earlier traveling. As the first, second, third request for a modern-day geologist in the present adolescent stage of science. The metaphor for adolescence was aptly used. And that also included paleontology, was to dominate discussion with science for the next 3 decades. Whether by way of agreement or by way of disagreement. However, the science did not step ashore. Venus light from Bay of Naples.
Okay, give...
The meaning of fossils. Martin J.S. Ludwig, New York. Neil Watson, Academic.
Will a kid have such a good throat? How will a kid speak? Speak like a kid. Body...
Martin J. Ludwig, New York. Neil Watson, Academic Publication. International, 1976, page 164-165.
Now your mother has refused.
I am now going to read that publication order. I am now going to read the answer. Please give me an tips.
Okay. Good. Use the script.
Richard E. Leakey, New York, E.P. Newton.
And if I say this,
127. There's a cartoon that shows two prehistoric men wondering how they had learned to talk and what exactly they would talk about. Strange as it may seem, modern psychologists and prehistorians are no wiser than the cartoonist. They simply cannot agree on why language evolved in the first place. Speech is the best show man puts on, proclaimed linguistic Benjamin Lee Wolfe, while eminent biologist George Gaylord Simpson called it the single most diagnostic trait of mankind. But no one dares to be so dogmatic on the subject of what evolutionary pressures produced speech. Humans, in their modern form, Homo sapiens, arose at least 40,000 years ago. And it is reasonable to assume that a refined and precise form of language was on their lips. The question is, when did the language first begin to evolve in our hominid ancestors? In an attempt to answer this question, several indirect lines of inquiry have been followed. Firstly, the potential for speech in our closest relatives, the chimpanzees, and in lesser closely related gorillas have been investigated.
okay, give a very good hand.
That shows two prehistoric men wondering how they had learned to talk and what exactly they would talk about.
Good.
Strange as it may seem, modern psychology and prehistorians are no wiser than cartoonists. They simply cannot agree on why language evolved in first.
Okay, now I want you to.
That shows two prehistoric men wondering how they had learned to talk and what exactly they would talk about. Strange as it may seem, modern psychology.
Okay, now.
That shows two prehistoric men wondering how they would have learned to talk and what exactly they would have talked about. Strange.
Okay, let me.
That shows two prehistoric men wondering how they had learned to walk and what exactly they would have talked about. Strange as it may seem, modern psychologists and prehistorians are no wiser than.
Good. Give a hand. Give a very good hand. Thank you, Rohit.
Human growth and development of personality. The essential contradiction of Freud's writing is that of idea of determinism, which he introduces over and over again to explain the sequence of mental events. He is against his practice of treating individual patients as being free agents. It is true that many patients are figuratively imprisoned by their past history and behave as if compelled to repeat the behavior which led to failure and distress. Freud's form of treatment was not a way of providing an excuse for a continuation of such behavior, nor was it a way of curing it. Rather, it was a means of increasing through understanding the patient's ability to take responsibility of finding alternative ways of responding to external events. In this sense, it differed from traditional medicine.
Okay, give a good hand, give a good hand.
And the development of personality, the essential contradiction of Freud's writing is that idea of determinism which he introduces over and over again to explain the sequence of mental events. Is against the practice of treating individual patient.
Okay, give a very good hand. Very good. Very good.
Of state statues was a rare, extraordinary event in 1850s. It was a common occurrence in 1900. What happened in the state of court paralleled what happened in the federal courts. The taste of power was even more intoxicating to state tribunals. The figures speak loud and clear. In Virginia, for example, up to the outbreak of civil war, the state high court had decided only 35 cases which the constitutionality of a law or practice was questioned. Of these courts, declared only 4 unconstitutional. Between 1861 and 1876, a dozen of more laws or practices were declared as unconstitutional. The Alabama Supreme Court went so far to declare the entire Constitution of 1865 null and void. The real spurt, however, came at the end of century. In Minnesota, the Supreme Court declared 19 laws unconstitutional in the 1860s. Only 13 statutes fell in the 15th years, but between year 1885 to 1889, approximately 70 state statutes were struck down.
Okay, good, good. Give a good hand.
Just give me some. Arey Samba, what is this in the history of American law? These judicial reviews of state statutes are very rare, extraordinary. Even in 1850, it was a common occurrence in 1990.
Okay, pause.
कुछ डिस्कस करें क्या? American law, judicial review of state statues was rare, extraordinary event in 1850. And now, if you see, it's totally different. That time, it was a common occurrence during the year century 19.
Okay, give a good one.
Okay. Just hold for a second. I have another call. Hello. Yes. How are you? Okay. Let's discuss about something related to the law in America. The judicial review of state statutes was a rare, extraordinary event in 1850. Oh, just a second. I have another call. Okay. Hello. Hi. How are you? What's up? Okay. Okay, fine. I have another article open in front of me. I'm parallelly going with that also. So I want you also to share the same. It's regarding the American law, the history, what happened in American law before. And the judicial reviews of state statutes was a rare, extraordinary event in 1850. It was a common occurrence in 1900. What happened in the state court parallel in the federal courts?
Okay, give me a good one. Try.
History of American law. Judicial review of state statutes. Extraordinary event in 1850. It was common occurrence in 1900.
Shady the percentage.
What happened in state courts parallel what happened in federal courts. The taste of power was even more intoxicating to state tribunals. The figure speaks loud and clear. In Virginia, for example, up to outbreak of the war, the state's high court had decided only 35 cases in which constitutionality of law or practice was questioned. Of these, court declared only 4 unconstitutional. Between 1861 and 1876, a dozen of more laws or practices were planned unconstitutionally. The Alabama Supreme Court went to so far to have declared the entire Constitution 1865 null and void.
Okay, give a good hand. Very well done. Good. I think
History of American law, judicial review of statutes was rare, extraordinary event. In 1850, I was in common occurrence in 1900. What happened in state courts parallel? What happened in federal court? The taste of power was even more intoxicating to state tribunals. The figure in loud and clear in Virginia. Civil War.
Okay, well done.
In this century, society has become a society of organizations. every major social task in this society is being performed in and through large managed institutions. As a result, a great majority of people of developed countries are working as employees. They work as members of managed institutions within a managerial structure and organization. In this century, society has become a knowledge society. More and more members of developed society make their living by putting knowledge. More and more acquire their qualifications through long years of formal education. More and more of them are managers. They work as knowledge professionals with direct responsibility for their own performance and results. These two developments are very interrelated. Because of the emergence of society of organizations, one can now make a living. One can make a living through knowledge to work. And because of the availability of large numbers of...
Okay, give a good hand.
In this century, society has become a society of organizations. Every major social task in this society is being performed in and through managed institutions. As a result, the great... Praveen, I'm going to take the session. Let's listen. In this century, society has become a society of organization. Every major social task in this society is being performed in and through large managed institutions. What is there to smile? Come, repeat, what is it? What is there to smile?
Sorry, teacher.
Teacher, Param is smiling.
Make him happy.
Param is also smiling.
Send him out of the class.
In this century, society has become a society of organizations. A society of organizations. Every major social task is being performed in and through.
Okay, give a good hand. Good.
Management by Peter Drucker. In this century, society has become a society of organization. Every major social task in the society is being performed through large. As a result, great majority of people in developed countries work as employees. They work as a member of a managed institution within the managerial structure and organization. In this century, society has become a developed knowledge society. More and more of members of developed society makes their living by putting knowledge to the work. More and more of their qualification through long years. More and more of them are managers themselves and work as a knowledge professionals with direct responsibility for performance and results. Two developments are interrelated because the emergence of the society of organization, one can now make a living through knowledge work, and because of the availability of large number of people with a substantial form of education. Management in both the careers and results of these two developments. It is the organ through which the institution of society, organization can be made to function to perform their mission. And management itself, knowledge. It is a discipline with its own subject matter, its own skill, its own expertise. Above all, the managers of these functions in the society of organization forms a leadership group in society. Unless the society of the organization destroy itself, managers as a leadership group and management as a discipline and challenge will remain with us.
Okay, give a good hand.
Social task in this society is performed in through large major institutions. As a result, the great majority of people they work member managed institution. In this society, more and more members develop society. More and more acquire their qualification through. More and more of them manage themselves. Directly responsible for the performance and results. Two developments are interrelated because of the emergency. So of the organization.
Okay, good, decent feedback.
Excess management Peter Drucker. In this century, please support me. In this century, society has become the organization. As a result of the major people level, what employee the work for the members manage.
The emergency of the society of organization, one can make a living through the knowledge work, and because of the availability of large number of people with substantial formal education, large institutions are possible and can be managed.
Okay, good, very well done.
In the century, society has become an organization. Every Rohit, as a result, the majority of the people is developed and members of managed institution with a managerial and organization. In the century, society has become more and more members of the developed country, making this living by putting knowledge to work. More and more managers are themselves taking the macho and kachifying.
In this century, society people, there are two boy, one boy, Paran is there, and one girl is there. They were going to the park in the evening. I saw them, and then I was following them later. Then I got to know that they went for a movie. So from movie, the manager called them and said, where were you loafing last evening?
Double image of double helix. Grobston, San Francisco, 1979, page number 53 and 54. Recombinant DNA techniques open path of greater genetic knowledge. The simple search for understanding sometimes is said to be motivated solely by human curiosity. Curiosity alone, however, could only in recent times be regarded as chief motivator for the growth of the knowledge. In the early history of our culture, curiosity could hardly justify time spent on generating knowledge for its own sake. The capacity to learn by investing time and effort in organizing and analyzing experience could only have been valued because it gave competitive advantage for survival to primitive humans. Learning from experience may have been fun, but in tough terms of evolutionary progression, it was more likely that getting things done was what counted. only the affluent societies of relatively recent times could consider curiosity as sufficient justification for serious work.
Okay, give a good hand.
Techniques, dear.
Good.
2 rupees per kg.
Good, very good.
Open a path to genetic knowledge. 2 rupees.
See here.
Simple search for understanding sometimes. 4 rupees.
So you know that.
No, you have 2 rupees. 1 kg, 2 rupees. Potato, 2 rupees.
Potato.
DNA techniques.
2 kilo.
Okay, good. I think. Wait.
Mechanization of office work. Mechanization was applied first to processing of tangible goods, agriculture, raw material and mining, industrial products and manufacturing, a kind of work that is benefited most from new technology, however, is above all processing of an intangible commodity, information, as machines based mainly on digital computer, other microelectronics devices become less expensive and more powerful. They are being introduced for gathering, storing, manipulating and communicating the information. At the same time, information related to activities are becoming ever more important in American society and American economy. The majority of workers are already engaged in such activities, and proportion of them is increasing day by day. The changes can be expected to profoundly alter the nature of primary focus of information work. The office. An office is place where people read, think, write and communicate, where proposals are considered.
Okay.
Mechanizing, I'm happy, I got 10%. Was applied first to processes. What is this?
You break down and you.
Materials, mining, industrial products and manufacturing. This much I can do. I'm happy I got 10%. 10% is good to me, bro, right? Mechanization was applied.
You are.
Hey, Yara, what are you doing here? Huh? You are in English class. Huh? Go home, don't sit here after class, go home. What do you people, which class?
तो वॉचमैन है क्या?
क्या बोला हाँ? घर जा, go home, what you are doing, what? Script. Mechanization was applied, which class?
I don't study here.
Then why are you coming here? Go home, agriculture, raw material, mining, industry. What you are doing here?
Get a cigarette.
No, I don't know. Who are you? Huh? Shut up. Give your
Okay, wait.
Mechanization of American work is important in American society. भाई तू क्या चाहिए बोल भाई ये मेरा बोल तू क्या चाहिए भाई नहीं तू शर्मा भाई तू बोल क्या चाहिए जान तू तेरे लिए तू क्या चाहिए स्क्रिप्ट मेरा है मेकनाइजेशन ऑफ ऑफिस भाई तू क्या चाहिए बोल तू सिर्फ बोल तू सिर्फ बता मेरे को तू क्या चाहिए यू जस्ट टेल मी व्हाट यू वांट भाई बता Okay, but anytime you need anything now, you will. Okay, I'm there. Okay, American society to one which information. अरे सर 2 दिन का अरे कहाँ थे आप? What is it? क्यों मिलते नहीं आप बताओ? तो मुझे लेके नहीं जाते अपने से। अरे यार तुम क्यों नहीं आए यार बताओ चलो अभी जाते चलो क्या भी नहीं करते क्या भी नहीं करते रम सब चलेगा और का मस्त और का वो नया वाला फ्रेश